Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Ace McGirl. I'm a holistic fitness coach as well as ortho pelvic floor physical therapist. This video is for those of you that are thinking about taking Ozempic or are actively on Ozempic for your weight loss journey. This is also not to shame you for your decision because you have the whole world doing that. No. This is here to help you potentially mitigate any potential consequences that you can get from taking Ozempic for the long term, because that is extremely common. And I know this might feel like this is like the one thing that really might help you, right? Really might help you move the needle on your weight loss journey. But we want to make sure that we're doing it in the correct way. Now, Ozempic is a drug that was commonly used to treat diabetes, but is now more so being used for weight loss. You'll see it everywhere. A lot of people are on Ozempic and they're losing crazy weight as a result of it. Like you see it, especially like all over Hollywood. But this is not really talking about Hollywood. This is talking about the regular person trying to lose weight, because again, a lot of us have struggled with weight loss for years. And this might be the one thing that really might help you actually move the needle. This might be the one thing that really helps you lose the weight, really helps to suppress your appetite so you don't feel like you're constantly having to eat so much. So in taking this drug, it helps you to regulate your blood sugar. It helps you to stay fuller longer, and it helps to suppress your appetite. When you eat less, this is putting you in a caloric deficit. So when we're in this caloric deficit, we're eating less calories than we actually burn off in the day. This is what's going to help us lose weight. We're losing weight, yes. We're losing fat. But at the same time, we are losing muscle mass. We're losing fat and muscle mass. And that's the problem. People are losing fat and muscle mass while we're on this drug. And as we're getting older, let's face it, all of us are getting older, and that's a good thing. As we're getting older and we're losing this muscle mass, that is going to be detrimental to our health. So while on this drug, we want to make sure that we are maintaining our muscle mass to maintain our short-term and long-term health. So muscle mass. Muscle mass is vital in everything in our body. We need this muscle mass. So having muscle mass helps us to naturally regulate our blood sugar. So when we have more muscle mass on our body, this is what helps us store this extra sugar or extra glucose in our body. It just goes into our muscles. So it takes it out of our blood and puts it into our muscles. So if we eat something that's carb rich, our muscles store it. And if we don't have as much muscle on our body, it's going to stay free floating around in our blood, which causes the damage. When you have more muscle mass, this increases your basal metabolic rate, meaning your body burns calories more efficiently. So let's just say you have more muscle mass over here and you're eating 2,000 calories. And let's say you have less muscle mass over here and you're eating 2,000 calories. So over here, because you have more muscle mass, your body requires more calories to do all that it needs to do throughout our day. So you might actually burn all of those 2,000 calories that you just ate. Over here, if you have less muscle mass and you're eating those 2,000 calories, your body doesn't need as much energy. So if you do eat those 2,000 calories, you might not be able to burn off all of that. And that might end up stored as extra fat. This is why it's so important to have extra muscle mass so our body's able to use all those calories that we eat. Because let's face it, sometimes we want to eat a little bit extra and we don't want to be in this caloric deficit. We don't want to starve ourselves all the time. So having more muscle mass allows us to do that. So as we're getting older, let's face it, all of us are getting older. It's going to be extremely important to have this muscle mass. This is going to be really important for our bone density. This is going to be important in our function and in being able to do all the things that we have to do throughout our day. This is going to be super important in terms of our aches and pains. As we get a little bit older, a lot of us start to experience maybe even some arthritic conditions. And if we have more muscle mass on our body, muscles do a little bit more of the work, so our bones don't have to take as much impact. So it's going to help with increasing our bone density. It's going to help us do more in our day-to-day so that we don't feel like we're little frail beings whenever we have to go to lift something, or we're having to be on our feet continuously throughout our day. Or if we're experiencing these various aches and pains, maybe our knees hurt, our backs hurt, or our foot hurts. If we have more muscle mass, our muscles do more in our body, so our joints don't have to take as much impact, and this can be significantly helpful with pain. This is also extremely important in our immune function, our mental health, and our mood. Muscle is vital for everything in our body, and we do not want to sacrifice this. Now, what happens after we stop taking Ozempic? A lot of the times, our appetite is going to return. And if we don't address the habits that we might have had previously, the appetite might return. Maybe sometimes it comes up a little bit more. This is why a lot of people gain the weight right back, especially after a year. A lot of the times after people stop taking Ozempic, they gain the weight right back because they never addressed the habits that got them there in the first place. If you are on Ozempic, I want you to use this as a window of time to start to build better habits. Build better habits in terms of your nutrition, build better habits in terms of your lifestyle, and start to get stronger, build more muscle mass. So if you are eating less on Ozempic, that might be very helpful, especially for those of us that have been overeating for a long period of time. So if you are able to start to eat less, you want to start to choose the right types of food, start to build better nutrition habits. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you a healthy plate, a simple healthy plate. And I'm just going to show you an example of what I'm going to eat for lunch today. But you could take this example and kind of do it in all different ways. So the main thing is you want to have type of protein. You want to have various types of protein, chicken, fish, beef, any type of protein. Have a protein on your plate. Add more vegetables. A lot of us do not eat vegetables, and this is vital for everything in our body. This has so much extra fiber, so much extra micronutrients to really support our system. So if we are eating less, the foods that we do eat, we want to make sure it's adding something to our body. So we have protein, we have more vegetables, maybe even some fruit and some type of carbohydrate to support our energy. Yes, we do want carbs. We do want carbs to support our energy. Might be a little bit different depending on who you are, but we want protein, we want those vegetables, and we want carbs. And usually you'll find some type of fat within this as well. So I'll show you what this looks like on a plate. Now, the nutrition, it's really important, especially if you don't have much of an appetite. So a lot of times people don't have much of an appetite while they're using this drug. But when you do eat, please make sure it's something good. And it might look significantly less than what you're used to, but really use this as a window of time to build these better habits. And at first, it's probably going to be hard. It's going to be hard because you've been used to eating a certain way for your entire life. But use this as an opportunity to start to build these habits and change the way that your body thinks, change the way that your body tastes these things, and you'll see a major change in your body. And then after you do potentially come off of the drug, you still have some of these habits. And if you do start to eat a little bit more, and especially with what we're going to talk about in a second, with building more muscle mass, your body is able to keep the weight off for the long term. So the nutrition is part one. We need to be able to work out to build muscle mass and strength as well. So girls, I know most of the girls are watching this video. For the guys, yes, guys are taking Ozempic as well. So for the girls, I know a lot of us are scared to build more muscle mass, especially as we get a little bit older, because we've come from a time where being thinner was in, and a lot of us don't want to get bulky. But I'm going to challenge you. One, you're probably not going to get bulky. Two, you could just build more muscle mass in the places that you might want to target. So as a girl, and I'm a little bit more sturdy up top. So I build muscle mass up top rather quickly. So I still train my upper body, but I do a lot of focus on actually building more muscle mass in my lower body. So I'm going to show you 3 exercises to help you build muscle mass in your lower body. Now, building more muscle mass. You want to give your body load. I know a lot of us, we are afraid of heavy weights. But in building more muscle mass, you got to give your body some load. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be hard, and that's okay. We want to challenge our body. When we challenge our body with more load, this is what's going to give us more muscle. And then when we have this more muscle mass with the proper nutrition, and we do this over and over and over and over again, over time, this is building muscle mass, and it's building the habit so that you're able to maintain this, especially once you come off of this drug. So I just want to put that thought in your head. Some of you may have not even thought about that yet, but in my opinion, and again, I'm not judging anybody, I don't think this is something that we should be on for the long term. I would say use this as a window of time to build these habits. All right, let's hit the gym. All right, so I'm going to show you 3 exercises that you are able to do to build muscle mass in your lower body, particularly in the booty area. When you're starting off, you likely want to start off with a lighter weight, just so that you are not hurting yourself and you're able to focus on your form. I really want to point this out. Starting off with a lighter weight and then focusing on your form. As you get better with your form and you get used to this is when you're able to start to load the exercise. This is when you're able to start to increase the weight over time. Increasing the weight over time, this is what builds the muscle mass. All right, so for the first exercise, we're gonna go over an RDL. If you are just starting off with your strength training, I would say maybe start off with 5 to 10 pounds, just so that you're getting the form appropriately. You're gonna start off with your feet about hip width apart, and I want you to have a nice tall spine. You're gonna breathe out, and that's gonna help you engage your belly muscles, and you're keeping your arms close to your body, a little squeeze downward through your shoulder blades, and you're gonna lower the weight to just below your knees as you shift your butt back. Inhale as you come down, exhale as you come up. So this is targeting your butt. It's going to give you a little bit of hamstring. And while you're doing this, you're really focusing on keeping this nice tall spine so that when you're lowering, you're loading into your butt. So next one is going to be a hip thrust. So you can either do this on a Smith machine. You could do this with a barbell. You could also do it with some dumbbells. I like the Smith machine just because you're able to load it a little bit more and it makes the setup a little bit easier. If you are adding some load, you're likely want to get some type of pad. I don't have a pad here, so I'm just going to use a mat. And we're going to get into this position. So my feet are about hip width apart. The pad just goes pretty much above my pubic bone, just so that I'm not putting a lot of like pressure through that pubic bone. And again, we want a nice tall spine. You're going to breathe out, get that core engagement. So I don't have any weight on this. So it feels a little bit light, a little bit weird. That's okay. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna inhale as you lower, keeping that spine nice and straight, lowering into that butt. Exhale as you come up. Inhale as you lower. Exhale as you come up. As you come up, you're driving your hips towards the ceiling, trying to maintain that tension through your belly, that awareness of those belly muscles, a nice tall spine, and come back down. This one, you get a nice good burn in those glute muscles. All right, so next is gonna be a leg press. I like this one just because you're able to load it a little bit more. And if you have a hard time with stability of this upper body component, this kind of takes that out of the picture. All right, so your feet are gonna be about hip width apart. I like to have them either in the middle of the platform or a little bit higher. And again, you're gonna breathe out, get that awareness of those core muscles. Nice tall spine, and all you're going to do is you're going to push away from you. So you could straighten out your knees, try not to rest with them excessively locked like this. You could straighten them out, and then you're going to come all the way back in as you slowly bring it closer to you. All right, so I just worked out, so I might look like I just worked out. So I'm going to show you my plate. I had some chicken prepped in the fridge, so this is what I'm eating. I'm eating some prepped chicken, some just regular chicken breast, some microgreens, because this is going to be my source of veggies / plant. I have some blackberries with it as well, and I also have a piece of sourdough bread that I made by myself with some jelly on top. So this gives us the protein, it gives us the plant, which has the fiber and a whole bunch of micronutrients, but also, especially because I just worked out, I have my extra source of carbohydrates, which I'm going to replenish my muscles with from my bread. So let's take a look at that. So this is super, super simple. 30 seconds to put on a plate. So if you just have some chicken prepped, it probably took me 2 minutes to actually just season the chicken, put it in the oven, and then it cooked for, I don't know, I cook chicken till it's done. I don't know, I'll set a timer. But if you prep things ahead of time, it makes it easier for you to have available when it is time to eat. So right there I have chicken, but that could also be substituted with maybe a burger, maybe a piece of steak, maybe some salmon, maybe some turkey, any different type of protein. Same with the plants, that could be substituted for potentially broccoli, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, or any different other types of fruit. Same with the carbs. So really just be careful of the carbs that you eat. I'm very particular in the types of carbs that I eat because a lot of the times the carbohydrates that we choose are highly processed and full of extra chemicals and added sugar. So the types of carbs that I'm choosing right there, it is going to give me energy, but it's also giving me like extra stuff that my body needs. So if you are choosing different types of carbs, potentially beans, I love beans just because they have so much extra fiber, which really help to cleanse our body. Potatoes, which have a whole bunch of extra micronutrients as well. I like lentil pasta because it gives you like that little oomph of having pasta, but it also provides you with that fiber as well. What else? And if you are choosing bread, just make sure you're choosing the organic type of bread. And if you are choosing bread, just be careful of the quantity that you're choosing. So if you are having those added carbs in there, you want to make sure you are not overdoing it as well. All right, so I want to point a few things out because I know where people tend to go wrong. All right, so first off, we really want to focus on our form. So we're starting off with this nice, tall, long spine and engagement of those core muscles. This is going to allow us to kind of maintain stability through here and load into the muscles that we're trying to target appropriately. This is going to help us maximize the effort to the area that we're trying to target the most. So really make sure you're focusing on your form. When you're starting off, the load should be lighter. This is going to help you be able to learn how to do the form appropriately. So if you're starting off, you're probably going to be starting off with 5, maybe 10 pounds. Maybe you might be able to start off a little bit more. You're starting off with a lighter load so that you're able to get the form down appropriately. So you're starting off with maybe 5, 10, 15 pounds, and you'll probably be going in the 10 to 15 repetition range, probably for about 3 sets or so. That's what it's going to look like starting off. So, like I said, starting off, it's not going to finish like that. Within a few weeks, you want to start to increase the load and decrease the repetitions. So, first week you're looking at maybe, let's say, 5 pounds. Second week, maybe you're looking at 10 pounds. Maybe third week, you're looking at maybe 20 pounds. So when we're increasing the load, you're gradually going to start to see the repetitions decrease. So we started off in this 10 to 15 range. To build muscle mass, we want to be in this 6 to 12 repetition range. You're not going to start off here, but this is where you're going to be aiming to get to. When we're in this 6 to 12 repetition range, this is the range where we start to build muscle. So if you're doing your exercises and you're at 13, 14, 15, and you feel like you're able to do a little bit more, that's when you're going to start to increase the load so that we're able to decrease the repetitions. So when we're in this range, this is where we start to build that muscle. So I really just want to point this out. You are going to have to load your body. You're going to have to challenge your body, and it's going to be hard, but that's okay. So when we have this form down, when we're giving our body this appropriate form and we're really conscious of it, and then we're loading over time, this is what helps our body build muscle. We'll probably do each of these exercises for about 3 sets, 2 to 3 times per week. There are so many other exercises that you could do. Absolutely, there's so many other exercises that you could do. But I picked these ones just because I feel like these ones are going to help you gain the most muscle mass, and these are actually some of my favorite exercises to do. But again, I want to point out there are so many other exercises that you could do, but if you're just starting off, these are 3 really good ones that you are able to do. Again, do this a couple times a week, maybe 3 times a week, and again, progress over time. So this is the muscle mass component. This is very important, but you cannot neglect the nutrition. The nutrition is vital. It is vital. You are not going to get the muscle mass without focusing on the nutrition. So I showed you a healthy plate that you are able to do 3, maybe 4 times per day. If your appetite's maybe not that much, maybe you're doing it 3 times per day. But what you want to aim for is 0.7 to 1.0 grams of protein per ideal body weight per day. This is a lot of protein. It is hard to get in this much protein. But I want to emphasize, you need to be able to make sure you're getting in this protein throughout your day to maximize your muscle gains. What this might mean is maybe you're focusing on the protein, and this might cause you to throw away, not eat some of the less favorable items, which will have a tremendous impact on your body. So we need to focus on this muscle mass, gaining this muscle mass through strength training, prioritizing the nutrition, focusing on having those plates frequently throughout the day. This is going to help you get rid of this process, less favorable foods, and really focus on your health. This is what helps you build long-term sustainable habits so that you are not reliant on being on this drug forever. I want you to use this as a window of time to start to build better habits, better nutrition habits, better lifestyle habits, which we didn't get into today, and better strength and movement habits. This will have a tremendous impact on any area of your body. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, please comment below. If you're interested in working with me in any capacity, I will link that somewhere below. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend. Maybe you have a friend that's questioning, maybe they should be going on Ozempic as well, but maybe they're thinking about it with the, I'm just gonna go on the Ozempic and lose a ton of weight mindset, but they're not really aware of all the things that you just learned right here. So share with a friend if you feel like they might have some of the same concerns that you might have. And other than that, I will see you guys next time.